So 5-Star Diamonds, it's a diamond mining company based in Brazil, as Tim said. Our aim is to establish a company #1 producer of gem quality diamonds in Brazil. That's very important, gem quality. This is not an industrial diamond play, it's all about high quality diamonds. Brazil is renowned for high quality diamonds. Focusing on near-term production. One of the things that we've found that the Chinese investors we've been talking to over the last few weeks, that proximity to near-term production, very important. I think being able to have that, really sort of really gives some oomph to the investment story. And the aim is to continue to acquire. We own 23 projects in country. Very important that we get the sequencing of the projects right. But the aim is to we have 5 projects that have been drilled. Those are the top 5 right now. Catalao going into production in 6 months. We have done a large drilling and bulk sampling at Maravilla. We're looking at bringing partners in on Roadshow and Jaibaras, which are larger pipes in other parts of the country. Again, 23 projects across 49 licenses covering 130,000 hectares. Focused on kimberlite projects. 5-Star Diamonds, as with any mining company, you need a great team. We think we have a great team with experience both in country and in the stage of development. Founders and management of the company, other than myself, I'm Jeremy South. I'm the CFO and Senior Vice President, but the company was founded by 2 geologists, Matt Wood and Luis Azevedo. Matt founded Hunu Coal, and together Matt and Luis founded Avanco Resources about 15 years ago. That was it's a copper producer that was acquired about 5 months ago in an offer from Oz Minerals. Hunu Coal was another company that Matt started. They went public in a $20 million IPO, valued at about $60 million, and sold Hunu Coal 18 months later for $500 million to Banpu Coal. That deal was the Mines and Money deal of the year in 2012. Another important point, Brazil is not new to diamonds. It's a long history of diamonds. Over 1,000 kimberlites discovered to date. Was the largest producer in the world for over 150 years, and really been now just moving away from being an alluvial producer into kimberlites. 5-Star Diamonds now controls a dominant position in the Brazilian diamond space. There's really only one other company that's producing diamonds in country. That's Lipari, which is a privately owned Belgian company. They produce diamonds out of the Browner mine. That's the main comparable company for us. They're also an 8% shareholder of 5-Star Diamonds. At some point, it probably makes sense for those 2 companies to be in the same group. But with their partners of ours, they're very helpful at sharing information around costs. A lot of our data around costs is based on their operating data. I talked a bit about the team. Matthew Wood, Luis Azevedo is really one of the keys to this company. Luis is Brazil Mining Man of the Year last year. He's the chairman of the Brazil Mining Association, and really brings a very. If you want to know anything about mining in Brazil, you're going to have to go through Luis. So his ability to capture the best projects, to have the best access, is really unrivaled in the country. And he's the key guy. Shareholders, R&R Ventures owns 28%. This is also important. Management owns 25%. So management is heavily invested. If you followed the company recently, The chairman, Matt Wood, bought another roughly 10% of the company from one of the other shareholders. So that's sort of, it really underscores the commitment of the management team and the belief management team. All the insiders, I've been buying shares recently. It's I think a really important indicator for new investors that management believes in this to the degree they do. The company went public about a year and a half ago in Toronto, so listed from the TSX venture. Near-term priorities for Five Star, as I mentioned, really focused on near-term production. The Catalao project is the main focus right now. We are out raising money, raising $10 million US, and looking to close that before the end of the year, and have the oxide portion of Catalao project into production by Q2 next year, so 6 months from finalising the capital. We continue to drill Catalao as we further define and understand the project and the resource. We are looking at a bankable feasibility study to support the fresh rock, and we have permits in place already. The drilling, I'll come to that in a second. Drilling has been very promising, and we are regularly hitting new kimberlite discoveries at Catalao. So, we certainly firmly believe that the project is significantly larger than we first estimated. The resource growth, the sequencing of projects beyond Catalao, Maravilla. Maravilla is an interesting project. The accessibility of mining in Brazil for our project is really unrivaled. The Catalao project sits about 10 kilometres outside a city of 100,000 people, access to infrastructure, labour, very low cost. Maravilla sits about an hour from Belo Horizonte, which is probably the capital of mining in Brazil, and Rio Chao Barros and Verissima are also very accessible. Talked a bit about that. It's the Catalao project. Here are some of the diamonds. These are our diamonds. We've had them sent to Antwerp. We've had them valued. We've had them researched. Very positive. Our partners at Lipari, are very positive on the sort of the high quality diamonds that we're producing there at Catalao. The Catalao project, 2,000 hectares, 5 diamondiferous kimberlites, and we've just had one major discovery we haven't announced yet to the market, but one of the targets that lies just outside of our deposit area is showing extremely positive results, and we think could be significantly open at depth. Very positive. So we've got a 43-101 resource for 2.2 million carats. We have a mining permit in place. We've had a pilot plant on site for some time now. We have a 100 tonne per hour wash plant, 30 tonne per hour dense media separation plant ready for installation. On site, essentially the money we're raising right now is just to really complete that exercise, complete the assembly of the equipment, and essentially hook up the operation to the electrical grid. So oxide's in production 6 to 8 months. That oxide portion will run for about 12 to 18 months, and then into the fresh rock. Here's some of the drilling we've been doing. As you can see, this is the sort of a top-down photo. This is essentially farmland. Just sort of rolling hills, very easy mining, and there's some very exciting discoveries here at Cat 11A. We believe this is a very major structure and could really be a game changer in terms of the overall resource. We haven't made the announcement yet, but we believe we could have a significantly larger resource now. As I mentioned, here's some of the some of the kimberlite discoveries in a core sample. Interesting about the drilling, so we had South America's leading drilling company drilling for shares. So they're not getting paid. They like the story so much that they're actually taking equity in 5-Star. So, and I think this is only the second time that this drilling company has taken equity in a customer. So,
And the first time? How successful were they?
It worked out okay, apparently. I mean, they're a big company, so this is it's not a small thing to, and then they will have been drilling for about 8 months by the time they're finished. So it's a reasonably significant action. Here's the facility as it will be assembled. This is actually what we've acquired. This is when it was assembled at a previous mine operation. Right now, this sits in containers at site, ready to be hooked up. So this is another pictorial of the project, the Cavalier Diamond Project. You've got a 25-meter layer of saprolite, 300 meters of fresh rock, 5 pipes. We believe there are more pipes than that, but these are the ones we've shown. Open at depth. Cat 11A is not on here. That's a cluster of pipes that we now are doing a lot of work at, and we find lots of positive grade. Some people ask about grade. At 23.5 carats per 100 tonne. That's how you sort of measure grade in diamonds. It's pretty high grade. Just a Gantt chart in terms of timing. Oxide plant construction here. This is the 7 million-ish of capital that we need to build that. Oxide operations. This generates about up to here about 24 million US of revenue, about $16 million of cash flow, so about a 70% margin. So very, very profitable. And then with the new drilling, we think the oxide zone is even larger. So we may continue to scrape some of that oxide saprolite material. In parallel with that, we'll be licensing the fresh rock portion and the bankable feasibility study to prove that out. Fresh rock expansion, we need about another $15 million-ish of capital to complete this fresh rock, essentially upgrading the DMS to allow that processing. One of the key things you've got to be careful of in diamond production, obviously, is not to break stones. One of the great things about diamond production is you have this double optionality. Not just optionality on price. If you get better quality stones, you don't have necessarily the same sort of price volatility as you do with other commodities, but it's all based on quality. But what you do have is you get large stones that they are exponentially more valuable than smaller stones, and that's really I think if you look at Lucara, the experience there, they found some big stones, and that's really been able to put extra cash in their business. Again, very, very straightforward project. Doesn't get much more straightforward than this, to be honest. I mean, I think if you look at the environmental issues, some people have asked about that. I mean, it's just you're essentially mining in farmland. You're putting a bunch of dirt and rocks through a dense media plant. You're just shaking it through in a finer and finer. You're making it's like you're shaking it in a fine sort of screen, making the screen smaller and smaller, finer and finer, till you get the diamonds through. And you can take the waste and just throw it back, and then you can grow vegetables in it. There's nothing in it at all. It's completely clean. Payback on the oxide, 6 months. Could even be less than that. And I talked a bit about timing. So very, very quick payback, and the overall payback on the project, 18 months on the total project. So very, very quick payback. Just in terms of capital, we're raising up to around 10 million US right now. We've got 2 million from our largest shareholder. We've got a reasonably good visibility on another $5 million of capital, and now looking for that extra 3 to try and round out a $10 million raise before the end of the year. But we only really need 7 US to be in production. Any questions so far?
So when you like producing the rocks, it's use a heavy medium to separate the diamond and the gum minerals.
Yeah, it's like a string that sort of spins around.
So you will take the light part or the up part.
What's right there?
When you like go to the cyclone, you just take the light part. It's
That's the waste.
that's a waste or
The density is like gravity, so the diamonds are going down, so
diamonds.
they come down.
What's the gravity?
Well, the diamonds are heavier, right? So they just sort of drop to the next.
I was thinking like it's light. I never really think about
But
it.
they're dense, right? That's the thing. It's not exactly the same as gravity, where it's weight,
Okay.
it's density. So.
Okay.
Raise, the market is certainly discounting our price because of the lack of capital, but we hope to put that right. So, about $11 million market cap right now. Management directors at 25%, R&R Ventures at 28%, and we're going to close that soon. Some details on the convertible debenture that R&R Ventures have signed up for, 12% coupon, and an option, a warrant, and a conversion. The other portfolio assets to highlight, this is the Maravilla project. We drilled this for a couple of months in the spring, and certainly diamondiferous bulk sample was showing grades of around 63 carats per 100 tons. So significantly higher grade than Catalao, but probably a smaller project. Roadshow, this is potentially a very large pipe. We have had interest from some majors in this project, given the size of it, and we have done some initial caustic fusion, and planning to do that. If we raise the $10 million, the additional $3 million will be used to continue to invest in this. We have had offers to do farm-ins on this project, which we are considering. Similarly with Jaibaris, this is an old De Beers project discovered in 1990, we continue to be quite excited about this project as we move forward. So it's not just about Catalao. There is a good pipeline of projects coming behind. We are looking for people to come in and fill the balance of the convertible debenture. We are looking for people to buy the shares, and this is the beginning of a hopefully a long relationship and partnership with Chinese investors. We've had some very positive interactions with some high net worth groups that like diamonds, like the intersection of diamonds, luxury goods, like the fact that China is now getting to become more involved in the processing of diamonds, and that can sort of, I think, allow China to play a much larger role in the market.
Do all of the projects have a similar profile? Like, is there a satellite layer on the majority of projects down there, or?
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe you can just explain the
Yeah.
benefit of having the saprolite for.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the saprolite, it just, enables you to, in the case of Catalau, it really enables you to self-fund the fresh rock. It's the saprolite is incredibly low cost. So we're assuming $200 per carat as a selling price. Our mining cost is $50 at Catalau in the oxide, closer to 100, 120 in the fresh rock. So having that saprolite, that easy first layer, just to sort of scrape off the top, low cost, easy to access. It's literally, you can see the pictures of it. You just go on the shovel and put it in a truck. I mean, it's very straightforward, and saprolite, very very soft, sort of very soft material, easy to deal with.
So how about the workers over there? Because it's diamonds is so rare operation. Do you have a skilled worker to work the sorting or?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good question actually, because when you have this optionality around large diamonds, the last thing you want to be doing is breaking diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
Break diamonds can be a very expensive activity. And that's what's happened in Canada, that some of the companies have had an issue with breaking diamonds. So when you look at processing, you've got to be very careful. So you've got to have people that know what they're doing. We also have a diamond sorting centre in Catalau City. I've been there, where you've seen pictures of people where they put the diamonds in the diamond sorting, and they've got these special gloves where they handle the diamonds. It's a very high value item, so security is another big issue. So we've gone to great lengths to have a good security solution here as well.
I have a question to the deal structure or to the terms. So what do you offer for the 10 millions? So you're looking to raise 10 million. How much equity or how much participation are you offering?
Well, at this point, we're trying to raise it. We're trying to raise it in this form. So it's a convertible debenture of around 7.5 million. It may be that we do. We may do a stream for some of it, maybe 5 million. We may do a stream. We may use some equity. I think we want to see how the book comes together. R&R have offered up $2 million US at these terms. So given they're the largest shareholder, we're allowed them to set the terms. But ultimately,
And how many shares are owed now?
there are 128 million shares outstanding at about 10 cents a share.
So you pay like 12% interest for the convertible.
So no, it rolls up.
Okay.
It gets accumulated for the first 18 months or until you're in production in fresh rock.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
And it's listed in Canada.
TSX venture. Yeah.
And are you planning to have a co-listing in Frankfurt? Most of the mining companies
Yeah,
actually
no,
have.
yeah. I think ultimately it makes sense to have this listed here in Asia. I mean, there's really no. I think once we're in production, I think that's something that we are going to look very, very closely at. Is a Hong Kong listing, or it always depends on where the capital is coming from. But if we can get, if we get a significant Chinese investor, we would certainly look at options. With it in production, it's sort of a new asset class in a way, as Tim says. There's really not a lot of precedent. I mean, the diamond market is reasonably small, so we think this could really allow Chinese investors to play a major role in the development of the company.
And what's the tenor of the convertible?
5 years.
Well, because on the Asia market in China, it's got quite a few jewelry companies listed over there. Overvista diamond is usually it's the majority like a commodity they are selling. Another one is gold. And so, do you think you can working with some of those jewelers and they become, because majority of Chinese those jewelers they are for the stone wise like the jade is the number one they're selling, and the jadeite is another one, and then will be diamond. I believe none of them got any like mines associated with those jewelers yet.
Yeah.
And eventually, it's quite interesting to see this kind of potential synergy working together.
Yeah,
As a
it's
shareholder,
one of those
as a
situations.
worker.
Obviously, Chow Tai Fook has their own mine. I think Harry Winston and Tiffany's have at various times owned upstream assets in the diamond space.
And don't they still do Winston?
I think
Harry
so.
Winston, that was that mine up in Canada that then bought Harry Winston. So that's a vertical
Yeah,
one.
yeah. So there's certainly precedent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more direct, right? You know, you're actually selling your own product, so it sort of makes sense versus other commodities where there's a bunch of intermediate products that might be developed along the way.
How about the quality? Is it the same as Ivory Coast in South Africa?
Well, it's very high quality, so 85% gem quality. So Brazilian diamonds actually will, in some cases, reach significantly higher prices than South African diamonds. African diamonds can be anywhere from $40 to about $200 per carat. The Brazilian diamonds are north of 200, so 220 to 270. It's a very high quality.
Well, this is the stone size is very critical. So when you say the price per carat, that's the average for your whatever you yield, right?
It is, but it doesn't include any big diamonds.
Okay.
So it doesn't include large diamonds. It just includes run of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Run of mine based on the bulk sampling and the mining because obviously what we've done, we've actually run a pilot plant already on this project. So we're not guessing on the saprolite. We have a pretty good idea what the saprolite contains because we're pilot plant processed the material already. If you go to site, there's a big chunk out of the ground where we've processed, and that's what those diamonds coming from that saprolite material were what was sent to Antwerp for evaluation, and so we feel pretty confident about $200 per carat, and 85% gem quality is very high. Canadian diamonds tend to sell for about $120 per carat, so significantly more valuable than Canadian diamonds.
And you mine the saprolites just with backhoe, or you have to drill a blast?
I don't think we have to drill a blast. So I think this is just the start of the. We certainly plan to be back in Hong Kong on a regular basis. We have had some interest from Beijing and Shenzhen for meetings, and as I said, there are some other companies in the diamond space where they have attracted picky Chinese high net worth investors. This is the start, I think, just the start of getting Chinese investors comfortable with diamonds as an investment class. And we look forward to everyone. I think everyone's got my details on the materials. Please hang around now or send me an email, and we plan to more than happy to have people come to site if you want to come to Brazil and see the project. The project's about 5 kilometres away from the China Moly niobium mine, which is a very large facility, about 5 kilometres away.